From the basketball court at the University of Virginia to the classroom at UNC Chapel Hill, Dr. Deborah Stroman has it all covered. Now this professor and sports business entrepreneur is about to take you to school. It's time for Dishing It Up with Dr. Stroman and the Sports Shop on Buzz Sports Radio.
D. Stroman. What's up, Dr. Stroman?
Great morning.
Great morning to you.
Morning.
I've missed y'all. How are you doing?
We're doing good. We missed you too.
You're in Vegas. And
we want to be with you.
Knowing what you do.
I told you to let me tag along, please.
Oh wow, it's been a great week. Vegas was wonderful. I had the opportunity to meet some of my NFL favorites, Warren Moon. That was a good opportunity to chat with him, and just a wonderful time. And it was a little play, but I want to double down on why I was out there. The Black Men's Brain Health Conference. We are really trying to increase awareness around all forms of brain dementia, Alzheimer's. We had a session around the TBI, concussion, CTE, and all of that, but helping to increase awareness in terms of what is going on with the brain, how does it work, and what we can do to mitigate, if not eliminate, any type of disease. What can we control? So it was a great time. And partnering with UNLV, the Sports Innovation Institute, under the Chief Operating Officer, Jay Vickers, who actually played for Notre Dame, played football there, just doing amazing things. So it was a great trip. I'm good to be home. There's nothing like North Carolina, though.
Well, look,
I know that's right.
Well, Dr. Stroman, I'm sure you had a great time.
Absolutely.
Hanging out in Nevada, Las Vegas, hanging out. But what you got for us this morning?
Well, I have something that's major, but listening to the show talking about the Super Bowl celebration and the violence, you all got me fired up. And I'm a firm believer that you've got to call it. You've got to say what it is. So the first thing I'll say is that we need to take action, right? It's think globally, act locally. And so I'm encouraging anybody in the listening audience to check out North Carolina Against Gun Violence. I decided, I think it was a year or two ago, that I need to do something. So North Carolinians Against Gun Violence, it's ncgv.org. So we can think about ways that we can prevent gun violence. I'm encouraging people to please get involved and do something. And then the other side is, well, if most Americans do believe that the average American shouldn't walk around with an assault weapon, that we should not allow people to purchase firearms without a background check, if we believe that police and law enforcement can only do so much, right, because they had over 800 law enforcement officers there, then we need to figure out, well, if we all believe, or most people believe, that we should do something, well, then who's holding us back? It's the Republicans. Most of the Republicans.
Oh, yeah.
And so I challenge any Republican who wants to have a conversation with me or whatever. Not that I'm going to change their mind, but it's you all. I'm not a Democrat. I am independent. Some people say that's problematic in itself. But the point is, it's Republicans. And so we have to say it. We have to say their name. They're the ones who are stopping this. So I'll stop there.
No.
That's good.
No, and this morning when I was talking about it, I didn't go left or right. I think this is a center conversation. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, what the hell are you going to do? And the politicians in general would say, well, I feel sorry for the family and all that.
Yeah,
then all
thoughts
of a sudden,
and prayers.
Right, thoughts and prayers.
Right.
Then at 12 o'clock we got a meeting. Talk about something that goes totally against that. When you got the NRA giving you funding your ability to be strong in your political races, regardless of who you are, then you're gonna lean into that as well. And I think I don't know what you do about it. To be honest with you, I'm looking at your site. I'm signing up right now. I just signed up.
I'm on it now.
I just signed up for the phone banking. So,
Yeah.
Excellent.
but it's just ridiculous when, yesterday you got 11 kids. Starting at age
and
6.
People who are in that area who've been traumatized.
Right. The ones that didn't get
say,
shot.
well, yeah, that they're hurt, their trauma, they have to stay home. But guess what? If half the employees in your operation have been traumatized, how are they going to work? How are they going to function at work? See, so this affects everybody. Your efficiency, your production at your job slowed down. What about the extra heaviness that's on first responders, the people who get sent to the hospital? Now your friend who's sitting there waiting to be treated, well, we've got an emergency. Now you wait a little bit longer. See, this is snowball. This affects everybody. We're all affected by this.
Yes.
Well,
I want to clarify one thing about the NRA. That's like that boogeyman that we think about. The NRA has been decimated. Right. Their leader, Wayne LaPierre, is one of the biggest crooks. Yep. And he's been the NRA is nothing. It's the Republicans, most of them, 98% of them, who continue to not follow the will of the people. And I'm sick of it.
Well, we're talking with Dr. Stroman. We're on Dishin It Up with D. Stroll, same as we do each and every week. We're talking about this tragedy in Kansas City. So, Dr. Stroman, I agree. I mean, first of all, I'm on record as a gun advocate. So, but I also –
No, but.
Hold on.
Yeah, well,
listen to me.
Yeah.
But listen to me. But also, I believe that there's plenty of things that we can do to make our country safer, right? And a couple of things that we can do to make our country safer is mean what we say, and do something. And what I'm saying is, I don't think it's left or right. I don't think they don't care right now because they don't feel like it affects them. If they want to do,
who's they? That's what we have to name.
Anyone that has the power to make a change. And I mean anyone. Any person that you can identify that has the power to make a change and they don't care.
I agree with you.
And let me tell you. But the reason why is because that also goes off into society. A lot of people will sit around, they'll tell you, yeah, something got to be done. Yeah, we have to do this. Yeah, we have to. But in reality, just like we joke about it, when you go into the voting booth, well, somebody had to vote for the guy. Hell, he didn't get in office by himself. In reality, when it comes down to it, that's not as important as you think it is. That's not as important as what they told you it was to them. So I know you say the majority and the masses, this is what they want. No, that's actually, at actuality, that's not how it comes out.
Well, what I'm saying is that we can't use generalities. That's how they hide and mask. If you say they, say who they is. The majority of Republicans. We can go. The records are public with every politician and how they vote. It is Republicans. That's what we have to state.
Well, I mean, I can't agree with K-Mac.
Don't be afraid to state.
But I'm not afraid. We're not afraid to say anything on this show. But
I'm not saying you.
Oh no, I know. Yeah. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I would say the majority of the people probably lean to the right a little bit, but there are some people on the left feel the same way. So
exactly.
it's not one group.
So I'll tell you who it is then. So if it's 100%,
no. So let me finish this. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna sit and let that be. Every Democrat says.
I didn't say every Democrat.
Every Republican.
I'm saying the majority of Republicans. Hear me clearly.
I think that's what I just said.
The majority of Republicans look at their voting record.
No, I agree. I think I said that's what I just said.
So if it's 100% on one side and 65,
it's not 100%.
You said every Republican.
No,
majority.
Okay.
Majority would be 51%.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's see.
This is how we don't have gun violence legislation, because people won't say what the reality is. It's like 98, probably 99% of Republicans vote against legislation that most Americans want. Don't dance around it. Let me
ask you a question then. So they vote the will of the people, right?
No, they don't. That's my point.
I'm glad you said that. So if the will of the people, that their constituents that put them where they are and put them in place, and they consistently vote against what the will of the people say, how does that continue to go on by the will of the people? How does that continue to go? How do they continue to?
We allow it.
Well, why would a person continually go and vote for a person that doesn't act in their best interest continuously? I mean, like in mass numbers.
Well, now you're talking about psychology and sociology. I mean, why would people who said that enslavement was wrong, and yet it existed, right? We've got everything from psychological, mental health issues. We see people out on the street who are unhoused, who need help, and yet we walk by them and not give them a hand or walk them over to the store and buy a sandwich. And this is just who we are as humans. So what I'm saying is, if there is some type of psychosis, if there's something going on with folks, then we need to name the problem. That's how we cure things. We have to name it. But what I'm saying in this country is we're even afraid to name it. That there are people in office who were voted to go in and do one thing, and they do the opposite, and people are dying.
Yeah, it's very alarming when you look at it on paper. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 10, maybe 10 states that actually have assault weapon bans. And then there's only 3 that's it's a small regulation. So, yeah, you got all of these states, but nobody's voting for a ban on it.
No.
The ones that have assault weapon bans are California, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, and Washington, D.C. That's it.
And all I'm saying is all of these people that say, I'm for regulation and all these other things, they don't hold the people that are responsible for making those decisions for them accountable.
That's right.
Or we'd have more states colored on this picture right here.
Right. So like it's some kind of conspiracy. It's just like all the other stuff to me. Well, we feel like we got to do something, about discrimination, about this, about that. They do stuff about things that they feel like doing.
Yeah. Well, as Dr. King said, militarism, racism, capitalism, those three tend to harm societies and bring societies down. So I'm no longer surprised. I'm not going to do, oh my gosh, it's who we are. Yeah. People say, Errol, I heard you earlier say, is this us? I like the way you said we have to be aspirational, as in we can be better than this.
Yes.
But we can be, but we're not that right now. Right. This country is sick. There is no doubt. If you look at every system, we are sick, the things that we allow. Yeah. But I'm going to do a 360 and go back to
thank you. We need a break. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. There's something major happening tonight, and I'm glad that the media is paying attention to it. Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, we saw that.
6 foot, 155 pounds. She's getting ready to break the current NCAA, and that's what I want to double down on, the NCAA women's record holder. She needs about 8 points. She's averaging 32 points a game. She's a showstopper. Everybody's going to the games now. It's unbelievable. There's a good chance that eventually she'll pass Pete Maravich and Antoine Davis, and so take over men's and women's record.
Wow.
It's just amazing what's happening. I do want to point out a friend of mine who I believe is the GOAT of women's basketball, whose record that she could possibly catch. But the reason why people don't start off with this amazing athlete who's now the head coach at Winthrop is because the NCAA took over the AIAW. That's the governing body that I played under for 2 years.
Okay.
They took over, and those records are not recognized. All right. So way back when in the early 70s, women were definitely held back. We were rarely accepted to graduate schools. There were blatant discrimination in hiring practices. We couldn't even have a credit card in our own name. Doctors were saying that women really shouldn't participate in sports because they believed our uterus might fall out. I mean, there were all these crazy things that were going on. And then Title IX, 1972. Now we can participate. Anybody who's receiving any unit, who's receiving federal dollars, must have gender equity. Are we still challenged in terms of whether or not it's happening? Absolutely. But Lynette Wooder is my GOAT.
Yeah.
Naismith Hall of Fame, first female Globetrotter, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. I could go on and on. Women's Sports Hall of Fame, Black Legends Professional Hall of Fame, State of Kansas Hall of Fame, African American Hall of Fame. She is my GOAT. Not only did she have more points than Caitlin Clark, she had 3,649, but back then there was no 3-point line, which can bolster your numbers, and we didn't have the small ball. which was lighter and an inch smaller in circumference. So I just want to give a shout out to Lynette Woodard.
Nice.
Caitlin Clark will do her thing, but I lift up this amazing woman who was a true trailblazer for the sport of basketball.
Not I know what I heard of her name before. I gave me talk to Dr. Deborah Stroman.
She
Stroman.
brought it up before.
Yeah, and but you kind of remind me. But I don't want to take it away from what Caitlin Clark is doing, though. I think.
Oh no.
I think that especially yesterday, Alan Silver was on talking about the WNBA, how the fact that people like Caitlin and the LSU crew and definitely the crew that's come out of South Carolina, how they're elevating the whole landscape for the WNBA. So women's basketball, unlike what you talked about before, but women's basketball is elevating thanks to pioneers, as you mentioned before. And I can't wait to see what happens with the sport. Yeah.
Well, what's sad is that people aren't starting with Dawn Staley in South Carolina.
Right.
That's what started this movement. You know, Olympic star, college star, WNBA star.
Yeah.
When she goes to South Carolina and they use football money to give her what she needs to build a program. Now, because again, Gino was doing it at Connecticut, Pat Summitt was doing it at Tennessee. Tara Vanderbilt is still rolling at Stanford. Muffet McGraw at Notre Dame.
Yep.
But the numbers started really increasing with Dawn Staley in South Carolina. Now you've got the Kim Mulkey who wants to jump back to Southeastern Conference and compete, right? We've got the Angel Reese who says, I'm leaving Maryland to go play at LSU. More attention, more fans because of what Dawn Staley has done.
Right.
And then the rest of this, we continue.
That's
but
true.
I think it should start with, not talking about the 70s and the 80s, but Dawn Staley was the one who started this movement of watch women's basketball.
Good for her, and she's doing a great job too, by the way.
Yes, she has.
Yeah.
Outstanding. That's amazing you say that, especially with the success coming off of Gino, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Where
And
it didn't move. It still didn't. I mean, it moved it up.
Gino coached Dawn Staley. Again, it's the tree, but Dawn Staley was the one in this more modern era to help this movement.
Oh, that's right. Gino did coach at Virginia, didn't he?
Yes.
I forgot about that.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, all the success he was having, it still didn't really move the needle like what Dawn has
That's
done.
right. That's right.
So it's something special to be said about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real difference. Pat, and all the others that came before, they were very successful. But
Pat was extremely successful.
But
Yes.
moved the needle, though. Dawn has moved the needle.
I haven't unpacked it, but what this conversation reminds me of is the effect of black fan base as well. Because when Dawn went there, so many African Americans decided to support women's basketball. They just absolutely love her. The grannies, the aunties, all of that. And
my mom, who watches all the games at SEC.
Now.
Yeah, that's a great point. I hadn't really thought about that because when Connecticut was playing, you didn't have that kind of fan base that way.
Absolutely not.
That's interesting. That's pretty good.
Tennessee as well.
Tennessee as well, right.
Which maybe is why the needle didn't move.
And Dawn is very much like LeBron in the sense this very grounded sense of community, bringing up issues that are of concern to white people, brown and black people.
Oh, okay.
But Dawn makes it center front. The things that she would advocate for, the way she would call out the inequity that was happening. So she also has that political face like LeBron does as well. And I think that creates that either you love her or you hate her, but she's going to get the attention, like the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Right.
Yeah, good point.
Well, doing commercials with Coach K, the Aflac commercials don't hurt either.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, now we got to bring in Duke.
I mean,
somehow.
Normally, you got look.
Somehow.
It's nothing wrong with starting at the top. All right, Dr. Stroman, what else you got for? That's it.
Hey, wasn't that enough?
I think so. I was going to say, well, damn.
Hey, look.
I'll just give her another 8 minutes. Come on.
That's one of those when you ask somebody, say, hey, won't you stay for a minute? They sit down and say, I didn't really want you to stay.
I was ready to go 10 minutes ago. That's when they looking at you like, what?
I was just being nice, but anyway. All right, Dr. Stroman, we appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all giving me the microphone, but again, North Carolinians against gun violence and support women's basketball.
We just